Hi everyone. So today I will be trying to create some sort of a surface pattern design with the green masala I found in my mom's kitchen, and it's very strange. You see this masala every day, right? Uh, I think all of us do. if we are in an Indian kitchen, this is kind of everyday affair. Stuff you'd find in your refrigerator like all the time. Plus a few things, of course. In my house, you'll find coriander, which is not my dad's favorite, so I don't have it here. You will also find ginger, but my mom didn't have ginger today because they've been freshly planted, and she has warned me not to touch her ginger that has been freshly planted. So, no ginger today in the green masala. There wasn't coriander, like I said. So, um, I decided to use just this, okay? And this is lemon from our tree, curry leaves, curry patta, from again our tree. And this is my dad's favorite. It's red chili from off the plant. He has this habit of he loves spicy stuff, right? So my mom's been making food that's a little bland lately because the kids are not exactly fond of spicy food. So my dad will randomly in the middle of dinner or lunch just get up and walk off out of the house and then come back a minute later with these. And then he'll just crush them up in his curry, and he's a happy bunny. So that's because this is a very, very spicy green chili. Well, it's a chili, now not green. It's green initially and then turns red, yellowish red. So I thought I'll just pick two of these and leave the rest for my dad. But this gave me a lot of a good idea for a surface pattern design, because in a surface pattern design, if you have noticed ones on Pinterest, or that the ones once people have created, you will realize that we need some elements. We don't need too many elements. Sometimes we can a surface pattern design can be made with a single element, meaning suppose I decide to go with leaves. Okay, the entire design can have just the same leaf, probably in different color, or in the same color but different shades, or different hues of the same color, and sometimes even just one color without other shades. So that is also a surface pattern design. But to allow for some change in you know allow for some interest, actually, the difference in shapes allows you to distribute these elements nicely. When you have three, you can play around even more. So for example, the size of these items in a surface pattern design matter. You want to have the big sized things, then you want to have medium sized things, and then you want to have these fillers, which are very often leaves, very often, because you can fit them in the gaps, right? The whole point of a design is to have as minimum white space as possible, and as much even distribution of other elements. Okay, having said that, so these are the elements I'm using today, and we're going to just make a few alterations. For one, all our lemon in the tree are lime, or lemon. This is not lemon, this is lime. All the lime in our tree is green today, or has been green of late. So we're going to change the color for the sake of this design. We're going to make these yellowish green. Okay, more yellow, less green, or maybe all yellow also. So that becomes one key element. Then you have your kadhi pata, which will not change color. It's green. It has to be green. We'll keep it green. And these little chilies, we'll keep it orangish red. right? So we have three different colors catching your attention. Also, these are three colors that go well together. That's also important, right? In a design. So this is going to be my first level of elements, the big lime. The next will be our red and reddish chili, and the last will be our kadhi pata. Okay, we can improvise at the end and see whether we want to add something more to our green masala. But right now, let's make this design out of just these elements. Okay, so I have a sheet of paper here, and I was wondering before this live whether we should make a box out of it or whether we should make an envelope out of it. I'm not sure. Any suggestions whether we should make a box or an envelope? Let me know. I'll get my ruler while we wait, and at least cut out a square. Hi folks, I see a lot of you here. Alka, Anuja, very nice. Awesome. Nice to see you all online. Alright, here's my ruler. For today, I'm using, as I did last time, my water 48 color itsy bitsy little birdie watercolor half pans. So going forward, my Kerala art supplies is going to be largely this paint set. I'm still not familiar with I'm going to keep this here for now. Okay, this thing rolls off so often while I cut my sheet. So I think I'll go with the box, because then what happens is I have less surface area. I'm being a little over smart, trying to make do with less work. Less surface area to paint. So those of you who haven't seen this box, I've learned this from Aditi, who has taught us to make boxes so often. Alright, so 19 and oops, wrong side. I love making boxes, so I'm going to funny size. Let me mark off. Let's there you go. Okay, I'm going to mark off 10 inches. 10 inches on this side. So don't worry if you can't see my sheet right entirely, because I'll tell you the dimensions. It's I'm going to make a 10 inch by 10 inch square, okay, out of the sheet. A 10 inch by 10 inch square, and after that we'll paint first and then we'll fold the box at the end. Okay. Mark my 10 inches at two places. Like I said, you can do this with anything. I mean, you don't need to make a box. You can make an envelope. You can make just a sheet. So I love doing this. This is a new trend for me. I have this little A6 size sketchbook, and what I do with that sketchbook is because it's A6, it's easy, right? I mean, you can do things faster. You can finish things faster, not do things faster. You can finish things faster because it's a small page. I maintain that book for ideas of surface pattern designs. I should show it to you. Let me just show you. So that's my book. That's my book. I initially started with a lot of sketches and stuff like that, but eventually I got onto this. This is what I want to show you. Look at this. So I have leaves and hearts and just about anything that comes to mind. I start a surface pattern design, and some things catch my fancy. Some things don't look as I envisioned them. So look at these lemons. This is This is another pretty one. Leaves. This can take a long time, but it's very pretty. And these kind of rainbow patterns, flowers, and sweets, and what have you. My latest was this. I really like this combination of gray and orange. It's just so pretty, right? So, so yeah, I maintain this book for surface pattern ideas. Excuse me, folks. I have a slight cold. I think the weather's really, really acting up. It's not conducive to good health. Where's my scissor? Okay. Usually I have my cutting mat, which makes things very easy. Today I don't, so I'm going to just mark and cut with a scissor. I'm going to use this paper for testing my colors before I apply the shades I want. It's a good practice, although I have to say I am often without rough sheets. You should always have rough sheets tucked away inside sketchbooks because it allows you to just test your colors before applying them and feeling miserable afterwards if you did not like it. Alright, so here's my not anything. A 10 inch by 10 inch square sheet. Okay, and you'll notice that I've marked diagonal lines. We are going to draw on the side that doesn't have any marking. Okay, and we're not going to draw everywhere. We are going to draw in the center portion because this is where your this is the top of your box, and a little bit on the sides we're going to need some amount of pattern. And largely towards the end, all of these at the end, we do not want to put anything because they're going to come in the folds. Okay, the box is going to fold up. So let's start. Let us start. I'm going to keep this one aside now. Okay, that's no space for everything, but we'll take one element at a time. And before we start, I want to just show you how I'm going to draw some of these elements. So first things first, lemon yellow. Oops, that was an awful color. Let's pick some of that here. Lemon yellow. Okay, next to lemon yellow I will also keep a brighter something like a gamboge yellow. Okay, keep that ready, or an Indian yellow. Keep that at the side. It just adds for. Another color we need is going to be a green, which is more sap green, or this is too bright, of course. I'm going to add another green. So keep a sap green like color ready. This I'm going to add a little darker green. This is sap green. Let me see. Yeah, little light, but now I have a green here in this palette, which is something I've kind of started liking. I think this would be something like a emerald green in. I'm not sure. But you see, this green is a little dull. Okay, it's lacking the vividness of the yellow of this, more a blue. Okay, this is a good green to have, especially for curry leaves. You'll notice curry leaves, they are green, of course. They are green, they are bright, but they are not as bright as the lemon that you see here. Lemon green is like, see, this is so yellowish, quite yellow, there's a lot of yellow in this green, whereas the curry patta green is a little more dark. Okay, so just to show the difference, we're going to exaggerate the green here. Okay, now the next thing is we are going to draw a lemon For drawing a lemon, start with lemon yellow, a watery lemon yellow, which is now looking green to me. A watery lemon yellow. And a lemon, if you notice, is not exactly entirely circular. There is a little bit of a bulge at both the ends. So we're going to make it a little oblong. Best way to do that is first draw a circle. Okay. First draw a circle just to make things easy. Then elongate this end just a wee bit. Elongate. And elongate this end just a wee bit. Put a patch on one side for a little bit of a shine. Okay. And the brighter yellow tinge can go in here at this end. At the opposite end to where you are putting a bright patch. I'm picking off some paint. My paint has started to dry again. Okay. This makes for a good lemon. Okay. Now let this dry. We can add the stem to a lemon. And if you are going ahead and drawing just a lemon for your surface pattern design, and no other element, you can also add leaves like this, add a leaf, a lemon leaf on top and things like that. But today we are not going to add this element because we have kadi pata, right? So we're going to just have a lemon with a little bit of its stump sticking out. That's it. After the lemon has dried, we're going to put a few dots on the lemon, but not now. That's one element. The next element we're going to paint is, I would say, take a little bit of this yellow, bright yellow, or even an orange, okay, and draw a slightly conical, curved piece, okay, and leave a little bit, just a wee bit of white patch on that. Go to red. Now I would think this is scarlet. Okay, it looks like scarlet to me. Nice watery mix of scarlet. Tap it in at the top end where it is wider, and just like a few dots over here. That's it. Now the chili doesn't have to be shapely. You'll notice that the chilies here are rather bumpy. They're not perfectly shaped, and the skin looks quite bumpy. So you're going to have to leave that as it is if you want to keep that character to the scene. You can later on even add a tinge of darker red at one end just to add some drama. Okay, leave that as well because we've got to add a stump to that chili. And the last, of course, is a curry leaf. The curry leaf, what I recommend, if you notice the stem is a bit lighter, is a wee bit lighter than the leaves. So what I've noticed is it's probably best to make a sprig of curry leaf like this. Okay, thin line. And then the placement of the leaf, if you notice, is not exactly at the same spot. Like it's not at the same spot on both sides. It's almost alternate. Okay, so if you want to show alternate, you're going to have to put this line here and this one here, and make these lines a little long because you're going to superimpose the leaf on top of it. Does that make sense? Yeah, I hope it makes sense. So so let me show you something like this. Okay, as we go to the base of the curry leaf sprig, you're going to make that in between vein a little bigger. Okay, this is your base, the base of your curry leaf. You're going to let it dry. Now while this has dried or is drying, I'm not sure if it's dry, I'm going to take a little bit of orangish yellow. Okay, I have orange here and a bright gamboge. Okay, and just start putting a few dots on, just like mild dots, some here, just very, 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 very tiny, and that's it. Okay, that adds character to I'm also going to take a little bit of mix of these two greens and add a bit of a, oops, it bled in. That's fine, that's fine. If it bleeds, it bleeds. Just pick it up. Okay, and lastly, since this is dried, I'm going to go and take a watery mix of this bluish green, okay, which is not at all bright yet, bright green. It's a cool green. And the shape of a curry leaf, this is very interesting. Have a look at the curry leaf. Okay, I'm going to place it right here so you can see it. The curry leaf, oops, the curry leaf is a oddly shaped leaf. Okay, normal leaves are like this, right? You end up, when we paint leaves, we paint them this way or we paint them this way, right? These are some of the commonly common leaf shapes we see. Okay, we may even have shapes like this, bulbous at the bottom. Okay, whatever. So these are all leaves. What these are all are usual leaves. A curry leaf is rather like a trapezium. Okay, so what I would recommend is draw them rather angular. You see this? Rather angular. Let me just show you one more time. I'll draw this a little bigger. Form a nice angle on the curry leaf. And it's fine to show your curry leaf this way. Okay, so let me show you how I will put my curry leaf on top of the stem that I've already put there. Okay, it's a watery mix. As you go lower on the stem, on the same stem that you are painting, remember to make your leaf a little larger each time. Okay, your leaves are getting a little larger. A watery mix will give you this kind of what do you call it, uneven feel in the leaf. You can in fact even go and take a dark green and drop it in at places just to give it some character. Please do this while it is wet so that it looks nice and it spreads nice and unevenly as watercolor should. Okay, something like this. So this is how we make our leaves. So these are our three elements. What we are going to do first is this: put in your large items, then put in the medium-sized items, and then put in this. And at the end, we'll decide whether we want to add more. Yeah, makes sense. Okay, keeping this right at the side. Oops. It's not enough space for everything. Starting off with my lemon yellow. My lemon yellow is starting to turn green, so let me just put in a little more yellow in there. There you go, lemon yellow. Let's first draw a circle. Leave a patch for the shine on your lemon. Make it slightly oblong by taking a little bit of the deeper shade, slightly oval. Okay. So we are making our lime more of a lemon. Yeah, if that makes sense. If you want, this is up to you. You can also take a little bit of green and put it right away so that the tip of the lemon does bleed. If it bleeds, it's fine. Okay. This can probably help get dimension direction to your lemon. All right, another lemon. Let's change the direction and put one here. Roughly the same size. So I'm going to try and make my lemons the same size. It's okay if it doesn't. It's all right. Put my bulge on one end. Go in with the darker shade. All right. And then we go in for another lemon. Shall I just try putting in that stem there? It bled as I expected. Okay, now this lemon's going to go somewhere here. Get the circle right first. It makes it just easier to get the shape more or less consistent. Drop it in initially, but then you can mix it up later. Drop in the shades first. Sometimes the paint dries faster than you expect it to. Other times it's nice and wet and the bleed is just all over the place. This time I think I'll put the stem on the other side. Okay. All right, let's put one here. It's gonna go inside. So, this is the part that's gonna be there. Yeah, let's put one here. Little bigger. Put a shine here. I'm just going to keep going. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep painting. All right. Through our lemons. Maybe some here and here. All right. Let's put in some green. Some green is missing out here. This here. Okay. Add a few more. Let's take one out this side. These things get faster as you paint. The paint is rapidly drying. Yeah, quite rapidly. Oops. Let me take this forward. Alright, I'm going to draw one more here. Okay, I'm going to go quicker now because this is going to the side of my box. And add in a little bit of detail here. Turn it around. Add a little bit here. dots out here and a little bit on this side, bulge. Okay, we come quite close here. This is fine. Okay, I'm going to just leave the rest now and just wait to see at the end whether we need to add a few, because I want to be I don't want to lose time making lemon where it will not get seen. Okay, so there you go. All lemons done. Just be careful not to run your hand on any of them. Yep, that's it. Okay, now that the lemons are done, next thing we're going to do is the chilies. The chilies, I would start with something like a gamboge or even an orange, like I said earlier, and we'll place them in all different directions. So let me show you one here. Okay, little bulbous and wobbly lines with a little bit of a highlight. And the next thing you do is drop in the red on one side, preferably the bulbous side. Okay, and a few drops of red over here just to blend. That's it. Next, let's put a chili here. Okay, now we're going to space them out in between at different places. We'll put one here. I'm dropping in color before it dries because this happens very fast. Like I said, my paints on the palette are drying, so I don't expect these to last very long. Dropping in my reds. And if you want to put in a deeper shade, try to put it in now, because again, like I said, after 3 chilies or so, the paint will dry. It will dry, so you want to make sure you're doing this. Alright, let's get on to the next set of chilies. Let's put one here. One here. Oops. One here, definitely. And maybe one here as well. Okay, and the next thing you do is bring in your red, pump that in, and move fast with it so that it spreads. Leaving little gaps where you see the red, where you see the yellow, just makes it, what shall we say, it gives it some depth and some dimension, having that, instead of making it a plain red, just a red. Okay, and while we are there, going with the deep red only at the ends. Yeah, at the ends a little bit. There you go. It's taking shape. Another bunch of chilies. Apply yellow. I think I need a chili here. Okay, one here. Okay, one here for sure. Oh, maybe here. So I'm just being very random with this, huh? This is not I'm just making sure they're interspersed. Get in that red. Drop it in. Drop in a bit of red here. A little bit here. This one is clearly very wet. Okay, going in with a darker red at the ends. Oh, this is done. That one. Taking shape. I think a few more chilies and we'll be done with that second element in our design. Turning this around. Bring in a chili here. Just a few more. One here maybe. Perhaps one here. Okay, I'm going to stop because I don't want to put chilies where we are not going to see them. Right? Keep turning your sheet wherever you need to. Don't restrict yourself with the position of your paper. Turn your sheet as much as you need. Okay. And remember, your chili is uneven. We want that. Go in with the darker shade. Tips. I like it, the tips, just makes it spread real well. Looks nice. Okay, so chilies are done, and I'm going to go in with a green. Let me just mix it a little bit with this green because I want it slightly dark. Now the chili needs to have a cap, so let me go for ones that are dry. This, when I say cap, you see this, the top of this chili, you see the green. This portion needs to be there. It's not just a stem up. So remember to put in a V shape and then that thing. Put in a little bit of V. Oops, this was wet. Let me find another one that's dry. If the colors do merge, don't panic. It will give you a nice brown shade that is quite organic to look. To look at. So don't worry too much, and don't let the stem be very straight. It can turn a bit. It can, it moves rather wonky. It is rather wonky. Just make sure that you're putting the stem at the correct end of the chili. Okay, the bulbous end. In our case, this is the end you want to put it on. It's not at the tapered end, obviously. I'm sure we know that, but sometimes when we paint, we forget, or we're in a hurry. I wouldn't say we forget. It's more like we're in a hurry and you just want to put all the stems. It's a bit of a problem with surface design, that we get hurried. After some time, you think you know where it all goes. Okay, now that we have all our chilies in place, let's put in our last element, which is the curry pata. Alright. So I'm going to put in a lot of this light green because, like I said, the stem is a little lighter. And then I'm going to draw in leaves, okay? The leaves are going to come out of some lemons from behind certain lemon, okay, like this. At the top, I will leave the line for the leaf to actually come in. Over here, I'm going to show a sprig coming out and leave marks that way. Okay, I'm going to put one in that goes from behind and let it come out this way. One sprig here. Then we have... Now, don't worry about putting all your curry pata in right away, because you won't know until all the leaves come whether you have actually put it where it needs to be, where all these white spaces are taken care of. So don't worry. First, let's put one layer of everything, and then one round of leaves, and after that we can see whether we need more. I'll have one sticking out here, and one here, and one here, and one here, one here. Look at the white space. I will put one here too. Turn your sheet. You may want to put one here. Oops, I forgot this red chili. Forgot to color this in. Let's put one here. Okay, coming out from here. All your leaves do not need to be seen on top, like in full. I'll show you what I mean. So in this case, this leaf is going to be partially behind the lemon, right? So that's what I mean by it doesn't need to be seen in full. The curry leaf is, let's say, in this case, we are going to consider that the curry leaf is sitting under all the lemon and the lime and the chilies, right? So that's the consideration. So it's okay. The chili goes on top of it. The this up a bit. Right. We need one here. I see the leaf going this way, maybe one this way, going under the, and we can have one coming out, leaf here, leaf here, leaf here, here, here. So here the leaf stems are here. Let's take one inward. Okay. The direction, now when I say inward, you will notice this stem is outward, right? The direction of the leaf should not be wrong. All leaves are at an angle. If this is your stem, the leaf should point upward out of the stem and not, I mean, we can't have a leaf pointing downward if the stem were the other way around, right? We never draw leaves this way. So keep that in mind. When you are painting leaves at a later stage, you can't draw them in the wrong direction. Okay. All right. Now, before we put any more leaves, let us start putting the, sorry, any more stems. Let's put the actual leaf. This will give us an idea of how much white space needs to be filled up. Okay. Only after we put the leaves will we actually know. Now I'm going to take this darkish kind of like an emerald blue, emerald green, and add a little blue to it just to make it more cool, a more cool green. Water it down adequately, not too much. And where the stems have dried, you can start putting in. Now look at the direction of the leaf. The topmost leaf is here, and the topmost leaf is also going to be one of the smallest leaves in that set. Okay, like I remember what I said, diagonal, I mean they should be rather diamond shaped or quadrilateral shaped. So keep that in mind. Okay, so quadrilateral kind of shape, a very a different shape from your normal leaf. If you keep that pattern going, then it's likely your curry leaves will look like curry leaves. At this point, I'm also going to go in with a darker green. Okay, don't forget, you want to do it as soon as possible so that it blends in, otherwise it's going to stick. See, already some parts are drying. This is bound to happen. So now the ones that have dried, just aid it a bit and you will get, and they'll move. Okay. All right. Let's go on to more curry leaves on this side. Smallest on top, and then sideways. Keep direction in mind. Angular leaves, not angular leaves, sorry, quadrilateral kind of leaves. They get larger as they go lower. Come back in with the deep shade, a dark shade, while it is still wet. Okay, continue. Maybe one or two sprigs and that's it. You don't need to. Now this is part you have to be careful not to put your fingers, your arm, rest your arm or your hand on anything that is wet. Happens to me all the time. I cannot tell you how often this happens to me. So you just feel bad at the end of it because you've taken so much of effort and you've not bothered to take care of your hand, where you place your hand. Moving on, push this back a bit. All right, there are some leaves here. Now this is a leaf that's only going to be partially visible because it's hidden behind, it was hidden behind the lemon or the chili in this case. Same here, it's a leaf that's going to be partially hidden, so you're not going to cover it up. Small leaf here, partially hidden leaf here. Leaf size is getting a little larger as you go down on this particular stem. Okay, go in with the dark color. Just a drop of it. You can help it merge if blend if it is already dry, so just watch out for that. Some places may start to dry fast, so watch out for this, as you'll end up with this reddish dark greenish blob. All right, so this is the other end. Okay, so I'm going on from the biggest leaf to the smaller ones later. Just keep in mind that the direction is, now this is another leaf that's hidden. Top leaves are small. I'm going in with the darker shade immediately because I think the blend isn't so good. So every sprig I'm going to go in now. Small leaves here. Hidden leaf here. Be careful of hidden leaves. It shouldn't alter the shape of the lemon or the chili that is above it. Bring in the darker shade at the right places. Yep. It goes faster and faster as you, the more you do it, right? So, but in the hurry to finish, just make sure you don't change, you don't by mistake end up putting the leaf the wrong way. That's the only thing to worry about actually. Okay, and be careful of the ones that are under as always under the I've mixed my colors now. I have to pull this back out. Again, direction and larger leaf. Go in with a deeper color. Oops, dry. Where it's dry, catch it fast so that you can fix it. Right? There is one here. And one here. Okay, now that we finished our leaves, remember this is where we will take a decision on what we need to do with the remaining white space, which there is some of that in between. You can either stop and say that this is it, the white space that's left is okay, which in many cases it is. I mean, it's not necessary to fill up all the white space. But two things: if you feel this is adequate, you can stop at this point. Just give the lemon its final touch, which is yeah, don't forget the final touches of the lemon, which is that the bright yellow gamboge with orange or something. It needs a few dots. Okay, these will dry lighter, but they will look very nice. Oh, look at the mistake. Did you see the mistake? Did you spot my mistake? And mistakes are bound to happen. So I painted a leaf on the stump of the lemon. Oh, well. So much for watching out. These dots actually are very pretty. They add a lot of character to the lime, lemon, whatever it is that we are. Okay, it really does make it feel more lemony, because you do see these this texture on the lemon, right? Now, if our lemon had leaves, there wouldn't be anything wrong with it. It's just that it would confuse. I mean, it would kind of clash with the leaves of the curry patta itself. So, which is why I haven't included. Now, if we weren't drawing curry patta, then the lemon could probably have leaves. There's no problem there. Okay, all right. So we have design. Now I'm going to be a little I'm getting brave. Okay, I'm going to add one more element to my green masala just to spice it up, as if it wasn't spicy enough. I'm going to add these little grayish black balls in between. Guess what this is. Just guess. I'm sure every one of you who knows who cooks knows what I am doing. What do you think this is? And yes, you're right. Peppercorn. Isn't it cute to have little peppercorn? So what I'm doing for the peppercorn is I've kept a little brown and a little black on my palette. I dip into both when I go back to fill my brush, and in most cases I leave a little bit of a white highlight on the peppercorn so that it doesn't appear flat. Okay, so there is, by the way, my black is quite dilute. It's not black, it's starting to look gray, and that's important because we don't want jet black, right? It doesn't go as well. Uneven circles also don't have to be perfect circles, because, as you know, peppercorn is not it's a rough textured circle, a textured circle rather. Dip into the brown and the black so that you get a nice shade, and it's not and keep the circles more or less the same size, more or less. I mean, you can't measure each one perfectly, but more or less the same size. so that they look rather like peppercorn. Since we have to wind up soon, I'm not going to add too many. And also the other thing is, you don't want too many. You just want these relatively larger white spaces to be filled. That's it. So look for the white spaces maybe here, right? It's not like I'm packing the entire white space with it. Just wherever I feel like, yes, it could. And also distribution of the peppercorn itself, right? You want it to be rather even. So now this side needs some peppercorn. Oh, I need one here also. Okay, a little more black and brown, and add one here. Some peppercorn here. Turning my sheet. There's definitely one can go here. 2 peppercorn next to each other, it does look nice. 2 or even 3 sometimes. So now our surface pattern design has 4 elements, right? Shall I put one here? Yes. Okay, I'm going to stop because if I don't stop, you can just go on. Okay, now what we're going to do is you're going to fold, and oh my, I am so worried that I'm going to fold on top of. So what you're going to have to do is bring your folds, these markings inward, okay, and fold it like the ends come to the center, right? So put this aside for now. Okay, let me just check. Do I have any more? Oh yeah, I do. This may seem like, oh, we don't have enough, but once we fold, you're going to see only the center portion up outside, and we'll add more if we feel the box needs more on the sides. We'll add more, but what I'm trying to say is, try not to fold the box before you paint it. Try not to, because once the crease comes, painting over a crease usually it causes the paint to smear or spread in an unpredictable manner. So that is the reason why I kept the sheet as it is, and I did not fold it right away. Before painting. Now that it's done, if you want to add a few more elements while it is folded, that's fine. That's okay. That is all right. But the large number of them should not come over the crease. Should not be made while there is a crease. So you want to fold it at the end. Okay, got one more here. I'm being very, very cheeky because I don't want a black smear. Okay, so I'm going to be just careful. Now turn your sheet around, and this is actually basic origami, so not rocket science. Fold your sheet. You'll start to notice that your pattern does come inside the fold at times, and that's fine, right? That's why we stopped painting sufficiently further away from the end. Here my pattern is, when you're folding, just be careful not to fold on run your hand along the edge, because it could smear the paint. If you do want to run your hand over the edge, put a sheet of paper over it and then run your finger over it, and that's fine. Yeah, okay. So that's 4. Nothing smudged. And the last corner, fold it inward. After Aditi showed us how to make these boxes, it was so addictive. I cannot tell you how many boxes I have at home. I mean, you make them saying you'd give them away, and then after you make them, you can't bring yourself to part with it. Weird, no? Because you enjoy the box so much. Okay, I'm folding inward now, one more level in, putting a sheet of paper so that I can run my finger over it. Same way, turn around and fold inward at that same point. Okay, press it down and use the paper. Please make sure you use the paper. I have, from experience, I have to tell you that I have done this bit without the sheet, and the sweat on my hand often smears the paint. This is watercolor, right? It is going to reactivate if any wetness, any moisture touches it. So be warned. It's just worth the care after you have made so much effort to paint it. Alright, this is done. Now you open it out, only one side. Am I doing this the right way? Yeah, I am. Okay, now what you do is bring up these two ends, and where this corner, this square, bring those two ends together nicely. Okay, and fold in this triangle. Oops. Yeah, careful. Same way, this end, bring the two ends together this way and fold in. Okay, once you do that, wrap this inward, and one end of your box is done. Similarly, let's do the other end. See, you don't want design over here because you don't want any of your painting here if you can help it, because it's going to go in the fold, right? So once you make a few boxes, you start to realize where the pattern should be, where the pattern should not really go. And just to save your energy, right? You don't want parts that are folded in, turned in too. There you go. And once that's done, your box is ready. Isn't that cute? And that is just kitchen spices, your green masala inspiration, and it's just fun. I was just watching. I asked my mom. We were supposed to do a recipe illustration today. I asked my mom to give me the veggies that she wanted to use for her recipe, and she told me that they decided to make the recipe. She's decided to make it only 2 days from now, which means today I don't have the supplies for the recipe illustration, and so I can't illustrate with live samples. So I said, all right, let's move up the surface pattern design to today and do the recipe illustration later in the week, right? So what should I do surface pattern illustration on or design on, and this is what I saw in the kitchen. My mom had just plucked these, and I said, oh wow, we can definitely make a pattern out of it, and that's what we've made. Isn't that fun? You should give it a try. Now, here's an example of touching up. You might want to paint something here, right? So once you folded your box, search for areas that you feel you need to add a little bit more. So this is definitely one area. This corner needs one more element here. Okay, and now you can open it up, because this is not stuck. Nothing is stuck. This is just origami. You can open it up, flip it around, and add the elements at the places you want. So we probably can add in a lemon here, or a lemon even partially here. Oh, definitely a lemon here, right? Because you want the space to definitely be. So this is a correction, or not a correction, an addition you can make after you have folded your box, and the crease at this point will not make a big difference. But you don't want these creases already in place before you have put in the bulk of your design. So that is what that's the part I was getting at. Okay, so adding a few more minor elements at the sides, the corners, that's okay even after the creases. And once you do that, assemble your box one more time, push it in. Now this is a 10-inch by 10-inch piece of paper. If you want, this is the cover obviously of the box that you will eventually use. You will need to make another box of the same size, not of the same size, of the same type, of the same origami style, but slightly smaller, because if you make two of the same size, they're not going to interlock, right, or go in one into the other. So you might want to use about a 9-inch, maybe not 9-inch, 9.25 inch by 9.25, right? So I'm looking at so this is 10-inch. You can make a 9-inch actually, or 9 or 9.25. Okay, you definitely want little more than half an inch to be size. I mean, the square should be at least half an inch less, or little more, than the square used for the cover. The bottom square has to be something less than half an inch. So I would recommend 9 or 9.25 inches for this particular box, but make that alteration as per the size you decide finally. Okay, thanks everyone for attending. I hope this recording has been captured nicely. And if it has, I will definitely be leaving it on IGTV for everyone to follow, all those who missed it. And looking forward to the next set of lives I have planned. Hopefully everything will go as planned, and you'll be able to join in and enjoy. Thanks everyone. See you. Bye.